Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be opening an altered Kickstarter booster and weighing it, as you know by the title of this video. So I got my hand on a few of these last week and just haven't gotten around to recording yet. So weighing boosters can be quite controversial. In some games, like in Pokemon, you can weigh booster packs and find exactly where the rares are and just sell off the rest of the booster packs. And that can cause a lot of problems, especially for people who are maybe unsuspecting. They don't realize that their packs that they're buying from, someone on TCG Player or on eBay, what have you, have already been weighed. And I hope that's not a concern here with Altered. For the retail boosters, it should not be a concern because in retail boosters, there are no foils at all. The way that you would foil a card is you would get a foiler, a token that tells you what rarity of card you can foil. So, common, rare, unique, you'll have a foiler, and you can assign that to a card and a rarity. And from there, any card with that name of that rarity will be printable in foil. By printable, Altered is actually making it so we can print on demand cards. So you know, you have the cards, you own the cards digitally, and you can just print as many of them as you want, foiled as long as you have the foiler rights. However, the concern comes with the Kickstarter. So I'm going to pull up a little quick thing here. In the Kickstarter boosters, there are 14 slots. The first slot, by default, is a foil hero. So if we assume that every single pack only has one foil in it, then we're fine. It's not weighable. However, if we take a look all the way down at slot 12, we have a chance to get a unique, and that unique has a chance to be an alt art. If it is an alternative art unique, it will be foiled by default in the booster, which means packs that weigh just a little bit more are probably the packs that have these unique alt arts. I don't have a very big sample size here. I have other boxes that I plan to open. This is just kind of an introductory video here, and we'll probably do more weighing and unboxing to try to get some more data on this. But another thing, another little bit that comes with these Kickstarter displays is that 1 in 250 packs is a golden booster, where the first 10 slots are all uniques and the next 4 are unique foilers. So if our uniques, let's say, are not, none of them are alt art uniques, then we will have 0 foils in a pack, which also means if we have a pack that weighs less than the rest, then it probably is a golden booster. The chances that we have one in this first display are quite low. If we hit one, that would be amazing. Not only for me, of course, but also it would be good data for the video here. But we will see. Theoretically, these shouldn't be weighable. Like every pack pretty much will have one foil in it. Some of them will have two, but hopefully the discrepancy in the foiling won't be enough. Also, if you look in slot 11, there are promo cards. Actually, it doesn't say this, but the 2023 and the 2024 promos are available in these packs, and they are not foiled. So these cards are quite valuable. They're full art hero cards, and they're just going to be in packs that weigh the same as any of the rest of them. So I, you know, if I go in with a hypothesis, my hypothesis is that this isn't really going to be weighable. Um, yeah, maybe you'll have a pack that has a unique alt art foil, and you'll be able to find that one pack that has that alt art in it. However, uniques in general being the only possible card in the entire world of that exact stats, what have you, it's to me it's almost silly to even think about weighing because packs that weigh exactly the same will have these special uniques in it. And a unique that isn't necessarily foiled isn't necessarily less valuable because if they have a really good ability on them, then who cares? So it's kind of my little bit of a caveat here. Hopefully, no one will be too upset at me for this video. I said weighing can be a little bit controversial, but I think for this it would be really nice to show, hey, it is safe to buy boosters online, and I would, for people who maybe can't afford full displays and they want to get access to some of these Kickstarter cards, I hope that by the end of this video, I can, or videos, depending on how many this ends up being, that we can actually prove and say it's probably safe to buy singles online. I would hate for an entire market to be removed from people who maybe, only want to buy a a booster or two and not have to worry about getting a full intact display from a seller. So in general, as a note, if you're buying singles, generally just buy from local game stores, buy from friends, people that reputable sellers. But again, hopefully we can prove today that you can buy them from pretty much anywhere. So we're going to start by doing the most basic thing, weighing the actual booster box. Does it mean a lot? No, but it's interesting data nonetheless. And I'm going to go back through and I'm going to do a whole like Excel spreadsheet here. We don't have good exposure here on the video. I hope this isn't going to be a big concern. But we have 1,013.65 grams. So this is just over a kilogram here. Yeah, it's trying to focus on the wrong thing. If that becomes an issue, then I'll just have to replace the display with my own version after the fact. So let us take a look. We'll see if we need to actually like cut this open, and maybe it's just better to cut it open. I'll grab this. I know I took it off screen. I promise it's the same box. I promise. I'm going to take this paring knife that I brought with me from the kitchen here. We'll open this up here. I know this is a very safe thing that I'm doing. And we'll just tear off this very nice, by the way, this very nice plastic wrapping and grab ourselves our display from here. Just throw that on the floor. Who cares? And we have our altered Kickstarter display open. I guess for for data, once again, we'll weigh without the plastic on. It is 1011.4. So instead of 1013, it's 1011. So a little bit less, but we will pop open the display here if I can. We will get this nice and pretty looking. All right, and we have our Beyond the Gates booster packs. So let's just, grab out a whole set here and start our weighing. So it looks like it's going to focus on the wrong thing, so I'll just say the numbers out loud and I'll have to go in after the fact and add some more information here. But this first one here is 26.60 grams, so 26.6. 26.6 again. 26.18, interesting. 26.27, so a little bit more, a little bit less. We'll see how precise we have to be here depending on what comes after. 26.61, so we'll put that with the 26.6. 26.28, 29. This one is 26.30. We'll put that with the 0.29. So this one is 26.32, 31. 26.19 is what it's settled on, or 18 actually. 26.31. 26.22. We'll throw that down here. 26.25. 26.16, 26.228, 26.35, a little bit on the higher end, but still not 26.6 like these couple here. 26.32, 26.23, 26.54, so we have another heavier one. It's not, or 26.55. It's not quite 0.6, but it's getting up there. 26.27. They're all pretty consistently around 26. I haven't found anything that's like 27 yet. If we get something 27, then we definitely know something's up. 26.20. Seems like we have three pretty consistent piles. 26.33, 26.20, 26.15, 26.36, 26.29, 26.20, 26.61, so we have another 6, 26.31, 26.25. It's again, it's one of those in between. 26.29. So again, we'll throw that in the center. That pile is getting a little precarious. What we'll actually do is we'll say goodbye to our Kickstarter display. Goodbye Kickstarter display. We'll just throw that on the floor. And what we'll do is we will push our piles kind of up here. This is our low pile. These are two of our kind of middle-ish piles. And this is our 6-0, our 6 piles. And we'll go from there. 26.35, 26.21, 26.4. So this is actually kind of an in-between. So maybe we will throw that like right there. 26.52, 26.24, 26.17. That's an easy placement over here. And finally, the very last pack, a 26.27. So we'll throw that here. And the 4 we'll just throw on top there. So essentially we've created 3 piles. I know it looks like 4, but I promise you this is 3. We have a lower set here on the left, and we don't really need the scale again. If we do, we'll just weigh on the side. It's no big deal. But we have here, here, and here. So we have these packs up here, which are 26.6. So these are on the heavier side. I highly doubt all of those are alt art foils. Probably not. From here, these are like our 22.3-ish ones. And then over here, we have like 23.2-ish ones. So I guess at this point, it is time to just start opening. So we'll grab our very first pack of Altered here. Quite nice art here on the actual booster box. This is English 13 plus. I am older than 13, so I guess it's okay that I'm opening this. And let's see how nicely this opens. If I can get it. All right, well, that's not going to do it for us. All right, that's the easy way to do it. I see a dark back already, which is going to be our token card. And as usual, we'll just take the trash and throw it off to the side. We'll deal with that later. That's for a future illusion to worry about. So this first card, we're going to hide the QR code here. It is a rare foiler. So right off the bat, we've gotten ourselves a rare foiler. This will allow us to foil a rare card. So we'll throw that, I don't know, we'll have to figure out the piles and such, but we're going to do a little bit of a card trick here, because I don't know if I'm going to scan all of these before the video releases, so we're going to do a little bit of a card trick. Based on, let's pull that back up again, based on this layout we see, it's not exactly in this order. That 14th slot, that 14th rare slot is actually right between the 9 and 10, or maybe right before the 9, that 50-50. So what we have is, we have our foiler token or mana, which is our final slot, which we already removed. Then we have 5 possible slots of rare or better. So what we'll do, we'll hide that once again. We'll count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so these are all the possible rares. We'll grab the next 8 cards, I think it is, and then put that card on the top. And that card that we just put on the top is going to be our first hero, which is Traced and Rosum, and it is foiled. It's kind of hard to see here on camera, but this is a foiled hero card, Traced and Rosum. I'm looking forward to making a deck with Traced and Rosum. So this is when a card leaves your reserve during the afternoon. If I have less than 5 scrap counters, I gain a scrap counter. This is a pretty cool little thing that Traced and Rosum can do. So we'll flip. Just going to have a bunch of commons, so we'll just kind of throw those here. Here we got Twinkle Twinkle. Here we got Hydrocana. Here we got Lyra Navigator. Here we got Helping Hand. And some of these QR codes are a little bit off center, but that's kind of what we expect. Ganesha, because they had a double printing process. We have Tomogozen. Kind of showed a little bit more of that QR code than I was hoping to, but that's fine. Oh, we'll have to worry about that one. Ortis Trooper. So you can tell I haven't opened these cards yet before. Oh, and we have our first rare Bravos Tracer, and this is an alternate art. So in the Kickstarter edition, this art is a special art which you won't find in the normal retail version. So that is quite nifty. That's a rare, so we'll throw that there. We're gonna have massive piles after this. We did get a tiny Jin. Then we got a Sakara Brew, and actually the Tiny Jin I think was an out of faction rare or a shift rare as we like to call it. But we've got some pretty good cards here. Oh, and this is our last card. So we got 4 rares or higher, but the last one is a unique. Our very first pack here gave us a unique Gian Assembly Overseer. So this is in Axiom. It's normally an Axiom card. It's a 3/1 with a 1 in Forest, 2 in Water. And it says if you control a token, robots you control other than me gain 1 boost. So this is pretty good. I think the reserve cost would probably be better, so which is why Traced and Rosin would be great. We'd be throwing this card into reserve, playing it for 1, and then just giving boosts to all sorts of other characters that we have. But it's still a pretty interesting unique, and I'll throw that here. We're gonna have very beautiful piles, and I might cut every once in a while to try to, you know, make it look a little bit nicer. But we like right off the bat we got a unique from a low weight pack. So this is looking good for us not being able to weigh these cards. So next up, again throw that off to the side there. I almost flip that around. What do we have here? It's just an Ortis recruit. So this is just a token. This QR code here isn't anything special. This QR code is like the same QR code for any other token character. So scan away. It'll just take you to the main page there. Now, again, let's do our card trick. We'll get used to this after a few packs here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll throw the rest except for that first one there. That's going to be our hero, which we will flip and reveal as Akesha and Taru. I actually have this as a promo. I went to a few roadshow events. I got an Akesha promo, which was pretty nice. So we'll throw that over here. Actually, this is where we had our heroes. And then we'll just flip as we go. So common Ozma, Dorothy Gale, Ortis Spy, all commons as expected, Dracana, Tanuki, Amelia Earhart, Haven Trainee, and our first rare, it is the Hatter, which I think, is it an out of faction? It is. It's kind of hard to tell on camera here, but there's a little F right at the bottom, and that F means that this is out of faction. I think this is normally in, I was going to say in Izmir, but I don't actually remember. I might be wrong with that, but that's a rare, and actually that means we have 5 rares in this pack, or 5 rares or better in this pack. So let's take a look at what our next rare is. Mardengale. That is in faction. All right. Muna Merchant. Again, this is in faction because it's in Muna, the green cards here. This is Paper Herald in Lyra. It creates Ortis Recruit. I'm pretty sure this is also an out of faction. It's normally an Ortis. And our final card here, our final card is another rare, Nurture. This one is also out of faction spell. This normally comes in Muna, which is all about plants and growing those plants. Next up, so our card here is just the Buddha, which is the token character, the companion for Kojo. Kojo creates this character throughout every time he's the first player. I don't currently know of any other methods to create a Buddha without having Kojo be your hero. So we'll count this off again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do our card trick, which again I'll get better at as time goes on here. And let's see what our next hero is. Waru and Mac, an Ortis hero. And then we'll just go through our commons here. Conjuring Seal, Acapella Training, Nurture, Cloth Cocoon, Axiom Reprocessor, Haven Warrior, Axiom Scrambler, and it feels like, oh no, we have 5 cards left, so we still have the chance of getting 5 rares here. Not quite. Quetzalcoatl in Ortis. And we have our first rare, Kelon Burst. This is an Axiom normally, so this is just a normal rare. Tomogozin, which I think is an out-of-faction rare from Bravos. Lady of the Lake. I think this is an out-of-faction rare from Izmir. And then our final card is normal Verdenbach, though it is an out-of-faction, like I said, a shift, maybe we could call it, a shift rare that comes from Muna. All right, shore up our cards just a little bit, and then grab the next pack. So again, I'm just grabbing these from the center because if they're not a foiler, then it's just going to be a token character, which again, these are all the same. Scan away. But this does have the same back as the other tokens. There is one type of special card that doesn't have this same back, and it's a Mana Convergence card. We'll probably see it later down the line here, but for the time being, this is what we're going to work with. Can grab that, place that here. If we do, this is one thing. If we do find a card that has a normal back and it's actually a foiler, a unique foiler, then we have found one of those golden boosters. Though I think we won't be so lucky in this first pack here. So Rin and Orchard is our hero. Then what do we have? We have Kadigaran Mage Dancer, for different pronunciations of that one. Anubis, this is an alternate art for this. I really like this art a lot better than the normal set Anubis, so this is quite nice that I got my hands on one of these. Then we have Hathor, Aja, or Asia, Tinkerbell, a little different than the Disney Tinkerbell you might be used to, Hua Mulan. This is a Brass Bug Hub. And we have our first rare, Mowgli, which is, I think it's an out of faction because again, this is going to normally be in Muna. And once again, that's 5 rare slots. That's pretty lucky. We have a Paint Prison spell, which I think is just a normal in-faction spell there. Then we have Aloe Vera. I think, again, another in-faction card there. Baba's Isba, which is, I think, normally in Izmir. I think there's a little F in the bottom there. And finally, we have a Flamel, which again is an in-faction rare there. So again, nothing crazy so far. See another dark blue back here. So let's see what this, oops. Clearly I'm falling apart here. This is just a normal Ortis recruit, so we'll just throw that off to the side. No big deal. Do our card trick. And then we'll reveal Sierra and Oddball. This is actually, again, another Roadshow promo that I got back earlier in February, so that was quite nice. I got a couple of the 2023 Roadshow promos. So those are quite little nice additions to my collection. But in any case, We have Gift of Self. We have the Frog Prince. We have Twinkle Twinkle. Coniferal Cone Man. Lyra Cloth Dancer. Bravos Vanguard. Colonic Generator. And hopefully if you're interested in any of these cards, you'll just pause the video and take a look. It seems like everything's pretty well in focus. Jeanne d'Arc. And then we have our first rare, Foundry Mechanic. This is in faction, but it is an alternate art rare here, an alternate art. So the Foundry Mechanic, again, in the normal version will look a little bit different than this here. So we'll throw that into our little rare pile. We did get, it seems like, 4 rare better slots. We have Yongsu Verdant Weaver. This is a shift rare, an out-of-faction rare from Muna, as far as I remember. Here we have Celebration Day Spell. This is a quite powerful spell, but it's quite expensive at the same time. And then we have Moonlight Jellyfish. So this is normally in Izmir, and it's just a normal rare. Nothing to write home about. So let's see what we're getting from here. Just a brass bug, so this is a normal token card. Then 3, 4, 5. Again, we'll figure this out eventually. We'll make it nice and pretty, but for now, this is what we'll work with. Atsadi and Surge is our hero here. That hero, by the way, as well as Waru and Mac, who we got earlier, were part of the Wave 3 promos. Those guys were available at Gen Con. So if you had a chance to go to Gen Con and you were able to do some altered stuff there, then you probably got one of those. In any case, this is Aether Shard, common. Paint Prison, we saw, I'm pretty sure, the rare version of that. Beauty Sleep. Lyra Scald. Atlas, I essentially showed the entire QR code there. Atlas. We have Mechanical Training. I'll have to go back and scan these, I guess, but Bravo's Tracer, again, this is the alternate art. We have Thoth, Egyptian God. We've got Lady of the Lake in faction. We saw, I think, was it, well, it must have been the rare version out of faction earlier. And we're on the last 3 cards, so we had all commons. So these are 3 rare slots. Not getting so lucky on this pack here. So this is Open the Gates. It's a spell. So normally this is an Ortis card, which creates Ortis recruits, but in this case, it's an Axiom card, which creates Brass Bugs. Quite powerful there. This is an Ouroboros Croupier, or I think it's Croupier, maybe Croupier. And then finally, to finish us off, we have an Ortis Attorney rare. So far, only 1 unique, though we only expect about 6 in a box. In the Kickstarter, the odds of getting a unique were raised from 1 in 8 in the retail to 1 in 6 for the Kickstarter. So we'll see how that plays out here, but hopefully we'll get something good. We did get ourselves a common foiler, so that's quite nice. And that will, again, allow us to foil a rare version or a common version of a card. Start off with Subhash and Marmo. Then we have the Monolith Ortis Bastion, Martingale, Muna Druid, All In, Foundry Mechanic, again, Alt Art, Bravos Pathfinder, 3 Little Pigs, Izmir Stargazer. We're on our last few here. Ortis Carrier, and it looks like we only have 3 left, so this is not a lucky pack. So this is Guaranteed Rare Physical Training, in faction spell. This is Muna Caregiver in faction. And finally, let's see, Monolith Legate in Ortis. All right, let's take a look. Common Foiler there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Tasia and Nara as our hero. Again, all foiled. There we go. Baba's Isbo. We got this as the rare in Ortis, I'm pretty sure. So there you go. Here is the normal in faction. All the common cards are going to be in faction. Only the rares will be out of faction. So here we have our Aloe Vera. Mind Apotheosis, which can... People have been trying to come up with some really interesting combos for this. You reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you choose 2 characters from those cards to put them directly into the expedition. So this is Lyra is all about taking chances, RNG. This is a big RNG play here. You're hoping for something good in the top 4 cards, and you get to essentially play it for free. So you're hoping for some big value from that. In any case, we have Daughter of Yggdrasil. Boom. Tiny Jin. And yes, we did have, I'm pretty sure, the Muna version of this card in rare. Then we have Foundry Armorer. Coming up on the end here. Paper Herald. And here we go, our first rare. So we have 4 rares this pack. Intimidation. Ride the Bifrost. Kuat the Dissenter. And finally, Tooth Fairy. Next pack here. And these are all of our low weight packs so far. We have gotten a unique, but again, it's just like 1 in 6, so I'm not too concerned here. So this is just a normal Ortis recruit. I think that's probably the easier way to do it, is just check it ahead of time, see what I have. 5, here, here, shore it up, and reveal. Sierra and Oddball, we've already seen these. Any of my extra ones, I probably plan to give away to any other people who want to play, or anyone who comes to drafts or events and they didn't participate, they didn't spend all their money on Kickstarter. So Kidigran Mage Dancer, we saw that one earlier. Harvest. Ouroboros Lyra Bastion. Meditation Training. We've got Tinkerbell. Physical Training. Keylon Elemental. Teamwork Training. I think we got Mechanical Training earlier. There is a and Acapella Training. I do remember that. There is a training for each faction. So each faction has its own version of a training card. The Katagir, Izmir Bastion. Excuse me. Atlas. So this is an in-faction rare. Pretty powerful. Seasoned, being able to keep its boosts. Pretty good. Looks like we only have 3 rares this pack here. We have a Cernunnos. And finally, we finish off with Thoth. See the dark blue, so won't expect anything crazy from this one. So let's take a look. This is just a normal Ortis recruit. Just throw that over there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, here. Sigismar and Wingspan. Monolith Archivist. Cernunnos. We just saw that as rare, I'm pretty sure. Ouroboros Trickster. Kitsune. Or Kitsune. Foundry Engineer. Sun Wukong. Copelia. Off you go. And we have our first rare, four rares or better, Hooked. This is in faction spell for Axiom. Pretty good because you get to force a character to switch expeditions and you draw a card. Pretty nice there. I definitely want to put that into my Axiom decks. Physical training. So we saw this as a Bravos card. So this is the out of fashion, the shift rare to Muna. Then we have Moonlight Jellyfish, shift rare from Izmir. We saw the Izmir version earlier. And last card is a rare Gift of Self. Almost through our light set here. And yeah, I'm going to want a lot more data. There's nothing... by the end of this video, I don't know if I'm going to have anything really conclusive, except for if all of these packs here somehow magically contain, like, you know, unique foilers, or they contain the alt art uniques in them or something like that, then outside of that scope, I'm not too worried about, you know, even myself going out and buying singles if that's something I wanted. But I think I'm quite happy with my collection for now. I'll worry about opening my booster boxes, Sigismar and Wingspan, before I worry about buying extras. But we have Baba Yaga. That is, I don't know if I got one of these before, but this is an alternate art. So the art again, the retail is going to look different than this. Lyra Bastion. Harvest. Couple cards we've already seen before. Ouroboros Inkcaster. This actually, so something that's interesting about this card is it says when I go to reserve from Expedition, you may return another card from your reserve to your hand. Something quite interesting about this card is that if you had two of these in play and they both went to your reserve at the same time from Expedition, both their abilities, this is something in the rules, it's quite interesting. They're still trying to work out the rules, but this is something that I think they're pretty consistent on, is that if both of your Ouroboros Inkcasters go back to your reserve at the same time, they can technically send each other back to your hand because their abilities still exist in the pool, and you can activate those abilities whenever you want. So they move to reserve from Expedition. Now you can return a different card to your hand, and you can just return both of them to your hand at the same time. A pretty powerful play in my opinion. But yeah, something to look out for if you're playing Lyra. Shenlong. This is also an alternate art card. You might say it looks a little familiar, but this is an alternate art card in this version. Again, it'll look different in the retail. Hooked. We saw the rare version of this. Haven Trainee. Getting towards the rare, Monolith Legate. All right, 4. We're losing our commons a little bit here. We'll shore it up after. All right. Looks like we're only getting 3 rares here. This is Spycraft common. First rare, Isun Boshi. Next rare, Hathor. Final card, Anubis rare. So again, this is our alternate art card. We'll grab that. This is our final kind of a low weight pack here. This is a common foiler. And we have Lindaway and Ma. Conjuring Seal. Already starting to fall apart here. Ouroboros Trickster. There goes our common pile, but that's okay. We'll try to keep it nicer. Kitsune. Mind Apotheosis. Bravos Tracer, again, alternate art here. Amelia Earhart. Calibara Asgarthan Leviathan. So this is kind of the image that comes with the normal Kickstarter boosters. You'll see this character here, the Leviathan, on the playmats, on a lot of the promotional material. This is the face of Altered outside of the Kickstarter, where Shenlong takes all of the glory. Thoth. And we have our first rare, Muna Merchant, which is definitely going to be out of faction as it's in Axiom here. So it looks like we have 4 rares this time around. We got Mine Apotheosis, which is, again, this is the out of faction from Lyra, which we've seen a couple times already. Then over here, we have Loki, which is another alternate art. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And then finally, we have another rare, Spycraft. Not another unique yet. Got another foiler here, another common foiler. Aryun and Spike. Gift of Self. Seen that already. Parvati. Hathor. Son of Yggdrasil. Ogun. Ratatoskr. Armor Jammer. Pretty good landmark for Axiom. The Frog Prince. And we've got our first rare here, so 4 rares in here. Athena. This is in faction, but it is an alternate art rare for Athena. Sorry, the rare is going to go here. This rare is Lyra Navigator. This one is Paper Herald. And the final rare is a rare. It is Hathor, out of faction from Lyra. This is our middle of the road weight cards. I'm excited for our heavy packs. We'll see if we get anything from there. We do get a rare foiler, another one of those. Our hero, Tristan Rosum. Seen that guy already. Dorothy Gale. Dracana. Ouroboros Trickster. Bountiful Meadow. John Assembly Overseer, which we have as a unique. Our only unique so far. Helping Hand. Axiom Reprocessor. Ortis Spy. Conjuring Seal. First rare, which is our guaranteed rare, Haven Bravos Bastion. So this is obviously out of faction. This isn't Bravos, this is an Axiom card here. So this is an out of faction rare. We have Dr. Frankenstein, which is also an out of faction. I'm pretty sure this originally comes from Axiom. And then finally, another rare, which also normally comes from Axiom. It is a spell, Boom, in Izmir. And we have our first unique foiler. All right, I'm making sure it has a dark back. If it had a light back, I would have really freaked there. But there you go. We have a unique foiler, quite a nice gold color there. So I'll be able to foil my Gian Assembly Overseer if that's the unique I decide to foil here. If it's the only unique I get in this box, then something's fishy. But hopefully not. Hopefully we'll see another one soon. Lindaway and Ma, already a couple duplicate heroes. It would be nice to see some that we haven't seen before. Banishing Gate. Isatok. Muna Druid. Lyra Festival. Meditation Training. Mana Channeling, the Foundry Axiom Bastion. Our first rare, 5 rares, this is good. Foundry Armor, out of faction from Axiom. The Sandman, Parvati, the Monolith Ortis Bastion. And finally, alright, Brassbug Hive, out of faction coming from Axiom to Izmir. Just going to get all of our uniques all in a row or something. Common Foiler. Basira and Kaizamon. Ortis Attorney. Kraken's Wrath. Martingale. Son of Yggdrasil. Esmeralda. So I just saw Martingale. I think earlier I saw Martingale that was in Axiom. It was a rare, and I think I said it was from Axiom. That's completely wrong. It's clearly from Lyra here. Um, we have Tiny Jin. Foundry Mechanic again, alternate art. The Katagir, Izmir Bastion. And we have Capellia. So we have 4 rares, or 4 rares or better. So Capellia. Lyra Festival, obviously at an out of faction here. Then we have Sneezer Shroom, out of faction, alternate art. So this is a shift alt art. Quite nice. I really love this art. Really do. Some of them are like the Foundry mechanic, don't get me wrong, is good as an alt art, but like some of them just are way better, I think. And we get another unique here, Tooth Fairy. So let's take a look at the stats a little bit better. So this is a 2/2 in Izmir. I think this is um, the normal faction that it's found in, and it is a 2/1/0. You may return a card from your reserve to your hand, and then when I go to reserve from the Expedition Zone, if I have 1 or more boosts, sabotage. Interesting. Actually, unique, we'll just go right there. So far, I haven't run into any of our mana convergence cards. It's all been tokens and foilers. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy about that, but it's just kind of weird. We do get a rare foiler here as I'm talking about tokens and foilers. And we'll do our count off. Aryun and Spike, seen those guys already. Monolith Ortis Bastion. Alice. The Sandman. Parvati. Bravos Pathfinder. Foundry Armorer. Physical Training. Baku. And our first rare, Haven Warrior. So we have 4 rares or better. Obviously, in faction. Meditation Training. In faction. That's one of the other trainings we were talking about. Aether Shard, also in faction here. And finally, we have Baba Yaga out of faction. And again, this is an alternate art. So the difference between the common, I think it was a common we saw earlier in this one, is that there's a little scarecrow here. That scarecrow is the thing that makes it a rare here. Another rare foiler here. Can't look a gift horse in the mouth. I hope I didn't screw up the card trick there. Atsadian Surge. Kakuba, Legion Commander. Off you go. Lyra Chronicler. Cernunnos. Kappa. Brassbug Hive. Haven Warrior. And I think that's 5 rares here. So we got Ouroboros Croupier. So this is one that we know is normally in Lyra. Here we have a Tanuki. So this is another one of our alternate arts. Quite pretty as well. Our alternate art, Sneezer Shroom. So now we see the Muna version. Lots of alternate art here. Spoke too soon, though. We have a Sakara Brew in Bravo. So this is an alternate, but not an alternate art, but in an out-of-faction card here, because normally that's in Izmir. And finally, we have Robin Hood. So Robin Hood is it's in faction, but it is an alternate art card as well. Again, one of the ones that I think is a lot nicer in the Kickstarter than in the retail. Common foiler here. Fen and Crowbar. That's a new one for us here. Tooth Fairy. Ordish Trooper. Asmodeus. Spindle Harvesters. 3 Little Pigs. Intimidation. Axiom Salvager. Teamwork Training. Our first rare, so 4 rares or better. Amal, the Asgarthan Outcast. I think that's normally in Izmir. I think. Inari. Oh, sorry. I'm realizing I just put that in the wrong pile there. Whoops. That was Inari. Goes right there. This will be Mind Apotheosis. So instead of a 9/9, this is an 8/8. And finally, we finish off with a Monolith Archivist, which is an out-of-faction that is normally in Ordis. We'll open this next pack here, and then we'll maybe do some cleaning on on this side of the on this side of things. Let's take a look. Just a normal Ordis recruit token. Akesha and Taru. Again, pretty sure we saw that one. It's one of the 2023 promos I got. Studious Disciple. Ordis Cadets. Loki. Again, this is our alternate art. Inari. Mechanical Training. Mighty Jin. Saw Tiny Jin, now Mighty Jin. Armor Jammer. Saw that one. We have Monolith Rune Scribe. And we have our first rare, so 4 rares or better. Dracana. We have Asmodeus. In Faction. Beauty Sleep. And finally, a unique Kidigarin Alchemist. So a 2/1 that is a 1/2/1 in Forest, Mountain, and Water. And if you control 3 or more characters, up to 1 target character gains a sleep. In Ordis, you're probably going to be controlling 3 or more characters just because all those tokens that you create count as characters. So you can pretty much guarantee an activation trigger on that one. So we've got 3 of the 6 that we should expect. We could go a little bit under that. We could go a little bit over that. Only time will tell here. A common foiler. All right. We start with Goreng and Toxin. Magical Training. There's our training for Izmir. I don't think we've seen that one yet. Sticky Notes Seal, which yes, it in the rare version I think it transfers over to Axiom, so it's quite a good one for Axiom in the rare form. Aloe Vera, Anansi, Verdant Back, Bravos Blade Dancer, Dr. Frankenstein, Monolith Runescribe. Coming up on the rares, aha, and we got ourselves a rare Ratatosker. It's in faction, Isenboshi, Dorothy Gale, and finally, we got ourselves another a unique Keelon Elemental, out of faction in this case, because otherwise it would be in Axiom here. It's a 2/2, 2/1/3, where when you play from reserve, it does two things. I think I think you don't have to choose. So I know in other like Magic, if you have two like tap abilities, you have to choose one of them. But for this, I think you get both of the reserve abilities here. So I may put a card from my hand in reserve by playing this from reserve, and up to one target character gains a sleep. You may have it gain 2 boosts. So this is something you're going to want to play on yourself. Give that card a sleep. It essentially won't count for that round, but the next round it will count, and it can be quite good. A nice little unique there. Really like the feel of the cards. Maybe we'll do a tear test on one of the foilers, because once I scan it, that's it. So, oh, got a rare foiler here. Though the fact that the foilers have a different backing, I don't know if they're the same material. So I might have to sacrifice one of my commons. We'll see. 1, 2, 5. We'll go like this. Oops. And our first is Aurak and Kibble. It's a new hero for us. Always good to see. Sticky Note Seal. Kadigaran Alchemist. Tanuki. Again, this is one of our alternate arts. Muna Caregiver. Haven Bravos Bastion. Brassbug Hub. Bravos Vanguard. Our first rare, 5 rares here, Dr. Frankenstein. In faction. Hooked out of faction. Spell. Normally in Axiom. Acapella Training. I think normally in Lyra. Next rare, Aether Shard. I think this is normally in Izmir. And then finally, we have a Kadigaran Alchemist. Saw that in common, we're getting it in rare. Again, I'm not going to complain. Another blue back here. Common foiler. Oops. Oh, I'm losing the cards here, folks. I'm losing the cards here. All right. Let's grab our hero. Kojo and Buddha. There we go. Kojo and Buddha, one of the 2023s that I wish I'd been able to grab at one of those events that I went to, but that's okay. All right, now let's go. Celestial Blast. Now that all the cards are in place. Charge. Hydrocana. The Hatter. Tomogozin. Keelon Burst. Haven Bouncer. Our first rare, Son of Yggdrasil. So this is coming from, it's a plant. It's obviously coming from Muna here. So five rares. We got Daughter of Yggdrasil after Son of Yggdrasil. In faction, the Hatter. Ride the Bifrost. And finally, we have a rare Haven trainee. I wonder if all the heavy packs are just the ones that don't have these dark blue backs to them. So this one is another unique foiler. Again, I really love the gold on this. I'll be able to foil a few of my uniques here. We'll have to figure out what I want to play with, but Fen and Crowbar, seen them before. Grand Endeavor, or sorry, yeah, Grand Endeavor, making sure I didn't misread that. Esmeralda, Yongsu Verdant Weaver, Lyra Thespian, Mana Eruption, Axiom Salvager, Intimidation, Baba Yaga. Again, alternate art there. Let's just show that. That's an alternate art card. We got 4 rares, 3 little pigs, a pretty good Axiom rare. Mana Reaping, Amal Asgarthan Outcast, and finally Kraken's Wrath to finish us off here. A rare foiler. Waru and Mac, seen these guys before. The Kraken, so we haven't seen this one yet. This is an alternate art. Again, one that I just really like. Grab the next one here, the Council. Sneezer Shroom alternate art. Orboros Croupier. Ganesha. Bravos Blade Dancer. Athena alternate art. Celebration Day. Rare Brass Bug Hub. It's a little bit cheaper, get it out a little bit earlier. I don't know if it's worth the rare slot, but we'll see as decks start to build. We'll see what the meta says. Low-key alternate art. Kuat the Dissenter. And finally, we have unique Lady of the Lake. I think normally in Izmir. So this is a 2/2. It's a 1/1/3 in Forest, Mountain, and Water. And the next card you play this afternoon costs 1 mana less. For a 2 cost, it's not too bad, but I don't know if I had, a better, if I had a different unique, I don't know if I would necessarily play this one here. But still a unique nonetheless. Oop, kind of lost a piece there. This one's just falling apart. Let's take a look. A rare foiler. Another foiler here. I really do like the amount of foilers we're getting. Kojo and Buddha. Kakaba, Legion Commander. Moonlight Jellyfish. Paper Herald. Muna Caregiver. Mullet as Garthan Outcast. Keelon Burst. Mighty Jin. Getting towards that card. Oh, and look at that. A rare Sun Wukong. This one's it's pretty annoying. I was playing against one of my friends and I didn't have a good removal and he just kept cycling this from reserve. The fact that it loses fleeting is pretty powerful, but that means we have 5 rares or better here. Let's take a look. Cloth Cocoon, Lyra Thespian, Small Step, Giant Leap, and finally, we have a Studious Disciple. I see this is running for a little bit of time, so maybe if you were really excited, you skipped ahead to the end, or you just, you just wanted to see an interesting opening. There was a lot of interesting things that have happened so far. So this is the Token Brass Bug. Lindway and Ma, I think that's the third or fourth one of those we've seen. Alice. Celebration Day. Spindle Harvesters. Asmodeus. Mowgli. Humulan. Keelon Cylinder. Getting towards our 5 here. And we get another set of 5 rares. We start off with Boom. Then we get Mana Channeling. Lyra Thespian. Keelon Generator. Or Colonic Generator. And finally finish off with Red, which I think is from Bravos. I think that's a little F there, yeah. So this is an out of faction, a shift rare from Bravos. All right, let's see what we start off with. Just a normal Ortis recruit. Afanis and Senka, the only 2024 Wave 2 promo I don't have, actually. Thoth. Amale Asgarthan Outcast. Kitsune. Trying to be better about bringing these close to the camera for you guys. Anansi. After an hour, you get kind of used to it. So Kaibara, Asgarthan Leviathan, Ogun, Ratatoskr, Kuwat the Dissenter. We got 4 here. 3 little pigs. So we had the in-faction Axiom version. This is the out-of-faction rare. Spindle Harvesters. Charge, which is originally in Ortis, I think. And then finally we finish off with a Teamwork Training rare. All right. All right, all right. Another dark blue here. I just do mana convergence cards even exist? I guess we're sure gonna find out. We start off with a common foiler. Subhash and Marmo. Saw those guys already. Flamel. Muna Merchant. All in. Kodama. So this is an alternate art. The artist here is, I'm pretty sure, the same artist who did Dixit. So pretty cool stuff. Boom. Achilles. Keelon Elemental. Get into our 5th card here. Not a rare. Open the Gates. Is this a rare? It is a rare Shenlong. Again, beautiful alternate art here. The stats are a little bit better, and it has tough 1. Again, we're matching our set, though not exactly, because with the blue horns that Shenlong has here on the booster packs, that is the unique Shenlong. So if we pull that, that would be pretty nice, but I won't get my hopes up here. There's a lot of different cards we could pull. Ogun, Harvest, and finally, we finish off with a Kakaba Legion Commander. All right, we are on our final of our middle weight packs, and then I think this is the one that was the 26.4 something, 4.5, 4 something, I don't remember. But after that, it's just going to be a bunch of like 26.6s. So we'll see if that's where all of our mana convergence, and maybe it's just that these cards, these token cards, just weigh a little bit less, and we'll actually test that and see. But we got Ortis Recruit. Here we have Waru and Mac, Tooth Fairy, Ouroboros Inkcaster, Coniferal Coneman, the Hatter, Kilonic Generator, Sun Wukong, Foundry Engineer, Monolith Legate. It seems like we're getting towards our end here. Is this a common? It's a rare, so 4 rares here. Bravos Blade Dancer, Loki, again our alternate art, Celestial Blast, and finally we have a rare Charge. All of the different foilers we've gotten, quite a few, and we'll do a count up at the end. I'm sure I'll add in post like an Excel sheet or something of all the different things that we got over the course of this recording here. But I think this is our 40 exactly. So 26.40 according to the scale at least. So let's see. You might be able to see that. Yeah, it's actually kind of showing up. I hear it's showing. It's adjusting. 26.39. I'm okay with that. 3/8. Kind of adjusting back down there. Just trying to figure out what it wants. Clearly this isn't the most accurate scale in the entire world, but it gives us a good idea of the general weights of the packs. So, common foiler here. Aphanis and Senka. Ortis Cadets. Izmir Stargazer. Ride the Bifrost. I think we got that in rare earlier. And Nari. Kappa. John Assembly Overseer, our first unique. Chiron. Oh, and 5 rares here. Ouroboros Trickster to start us off. It's in Bravos, but normally it's in Lyra, so that's an out of faction. Hydrocana, which is this is quite interesting. So Hydrocana having Eternal. I didn't really talk about this before, but Eternal just means it just doesn't go to reserve. So quite interesting because just at noon, it just gains 4 boosts. So every day, as long as your opponent doesn't remove it, it's just going to keep gaining 4 boosts. And this in particular, the fact that it has tough X, X is the number of plants you control, it makes it harder for your opponent to remove. So I expect that this is going to be quite powerful in some Muna decks, but we have Kadigaran Mage Dancer, Haven Warrior, obviously again an out of faction in Ortis, normally from Bravos, and finally we have our first alt art unique foil. So this is the Foundry mechanic. It's also a shift rare because it's normally an Axiom, but it is automatically foiled right out of the booster pack here because it's an alt art unique. So quite nice. Let's take a look at the stats. It's a 2/2 with 2/0/2. When another non-token character joins your expeditions. If you control 4 or more characters, create 2 Ortis recruit soldiers tokens in my expedition. Hmm. This, when another non-token character, so you can't just like put in an Ortis recruit and then get 2 more Ortis recruits, and then those 2 Ortis recruits make more Ortis recruits. That would be a little too crazy. But this does seem like it could be really good. You play a character and you just get a free 2/2/2 essentially split across two. And if you have, there are certain landmarks which kind of skipped over before, but the Ortis carrier or the Ortis Bastion, I think it is, I think it's the Ortis Bastion, where you just every character that joins your expedition just gets a free boost. So you just get 4/4/4. This seems like it could be really good value. In any case, it's just cool. It's a nice foil. I do like the foiling that they've done here. You can kind of see the rainbow works. So I'll have to sleeve that up. I'll sleeve up all my uniques, but that especially. Oh, and I should weigh this, but I see a white back on this one. This is 26.52. Yeah, I think I know where all of our mana convergence is. All of our mana convergence seems to have ended up here. We'll see if we'll be able to weigh the mana convergence versus the normal tokens. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's just a mana convergence card. Nothing fancy here. We'll throw that off to the side. Actually make a separate pile for that so we can do some weigh testing. 2, 3, 4, 5, here, and then here. All right, Nevenkin Blotch, another one of the 2023 promos that I got. New hero for us though, which is nice. Kadigaran Alchemist. The Spindle, Muna Bastion. Loki, Alt Art. Bountiful Meadow. Athena, Alt Art. Kybara, Asgarth, and Leviathan. Trying to think what alt arts we haven't seen yet. Hooked. Robin Hood, Alt Art. Coming up on the last possible common. It is a common. Studious Disciple. And now our guaranteed rares. Ada Lovelace. So we had the Ada Lovelace and the Capellia rares, which is nice because in the Kickstarter I did splurge a little bit. I got myself the Ada Lovelace Capellia Kickstarter exclusive playmat. I just, it's a nice background here, but I just like the look of the of that. In any case, here we go. This is Lyra Festival. A lot of interesting decks being designed specifically around this because it's just a win condition. If you get these, if you have 3 different characters that each have one of Fleeting, Anchored, Asleep, so they have 3 different characters that have these 3 different effects or whatever you would call them, you just win the game. So the fact that you can just do a target character gains Fleeting, Anchored, or Asleep, if you're just missing one of those things, like Asleep might be a little bit harder to get, or maybe it's Anchored for Lyra, though Lyra does have a few cards like Asmodeus where you roll a die and you get Anchored. So getting Fleeting is going to be easy. You just play from reserve. Anchored, there's some roll die abilities. You play this, you get Asleep, and that's it. You essentially just win the game once the day resolves at dusk. So you better hope that your opponent doesn't have any removal. But anyways, all that aside, we get Isatok, which is normally in Ortis here. Let's throw this on here. 26.57. I'm glad that we're finally seeing the weights here. I guess I just didn't have it at the right angle. Yeah, okay. We're finding all of our mana convergence. So the black back are just kind of like, they just weigh a little bit less. So let's see. It is a mana convergence. All right. No, nothing to be too excited about here. We don't have a golden booster. So yeah. Again, once this is all said and done, we will weigh those separately, or I can kibble. We got Ortis Gatekeeper. We got Mana Reaping. Lyra Thespian. Yongsu Verdant Weaver. Isenboshi. Ada Lovelace, which we just got the rare for. Mana Eruption. Sakara Brew. Grand Endeavor. We're on our guaranteed rare now. Bravos Pathfinder. Excuse me. You can tell I've been doing this for like an hour and a half. Magical Training. So this normally comes from Izmir. Draw a card, quite cool. And then this normally comes from Bravos. It is Atlas. Tokens you control have gigantic. That's just insane for Ortis. We'll throw that on here. 26.53. Yeah. I think we figured out how weighting works. Floor's an absolute mess, but that's fine. Yep. It's just a mana convergence. Nevenkin Blotch. Gone then. Aether Shard. Lyra Navigator. Beauty Sleep. Lyra Scald. Atlas, which we just saw as a rare. Dr. Frankenstein. Chiron. Quetzalcoatl. Flamel. Daughter of Yggdrasil, first rare, and it's going to be that was our guaranteed rare. So this is out of faction, out of Muna. Verdant back. And finally, Kelon Burst. Pretty sure out of faction from Axiom here. All right, we're on our last 3 packs, folks. Last 3 packs. This is one of our heavier ones. 26 point. It seems like it's settled at around 6-0. Yep, just a mana convergence. Basira and Kaizamon. All right. Isatok. Banishing Gate. The Sandman. Aja. Shenlong, alt art. Trying to think which alt arts we haven't seen yet. Capelia. It's hard when I don't have them immediately in front of me. Mana Channeling. Haven Bouncer rare. That's 5 rares in this pack, or 5 rares or better. Muna Druid. Hydrocana. Banishing Gate. And we did see the before we saw the what was it called? The out of faction version, I think, in Muna for Hydrocana. But in any case, Banishing Gate. And then finally we finish off with Lady of the Lake. All right, 2 more packs. This one sits at a cool 26.57. All right. All right. Just a mana convergence. And we'll see what we've got in our last few cards here. So Gullrank and Toxin, already saw them. Monolith Archivist. Mowgli. Paint Prison. Verdant back. Axiom Scrambler. Bravos Tracer alternate art. Amelia Earhart. Small Step Giant Leap. Our first rare, so 4 rares this time. Frog Prince, normally in Ortis. I think that comes in the starter deck. Kappa, out of faction, normally from Bravos. Thoth, out of faction, normally in it's a bureaucrat, so normally in Ortis. Oh, I put a bunch of rares in the wrong place, didn't I? That's fine. And then finally we get Gian Assembly Overseer. I'll take a guess that it'll be another mana convergence. Let's see, do we see a white back? It looks like we see a white back peeking through. I don't think I weighed it, but that's fine. I think that was the 2.61 or something like that. It is a Mana Convergence. No golden booster for us today, but maybe in one of our other boxes. All right. So for our final pack, we have Teja Nara, Baba's Isba, Mind Apotheosis, Daughter of Yggdrasil, Lyra Chronicler, Haven Bravos Bastion, Keelon Cylinder, Red, Ortis Carrier. It doesn't look like we're going to get lucky on this one. Nope. Kuat the Dissenter. And now we have our 3 guaranteed rares, or better. Spindle Muna Bastion, obviously out of faction, normally in Muna. We have Coniferal Cone Man, normally in Muna. And let's see what our last card is. It is a rare, out of faction, Ada Lovelace, normally from Axiom. So, we got a few interesting uniques today. We got our alternate art unique. So quite happy with the haul. That is 6 uniques. I've seen some people get 5. I've seen some people get 4. I've seen some people who claim they got none, which there's definitely a collation problem with that. There's some people who got even up to 8 uniques, but 6 is pretty typical from what I'm familiar with. So I'm glad that I didn't end up under count on that. So I guess my conclusion here is that these these mana convergence, these white back cards, just way more than the black back cards. I don't know how accurate this scale is going to be, but if we just throw down a mana convergence real quick, let's try to make sure it's centered. It's claiming. See, it's not so sure, is it? 1.85. 1.89, 1.88. It's not quite sure. Again, this isn't the best one in existence, the best scale in existence. Let's see how much it thinks this weighs. See, that could be where our discrepancy is. 1.52. Let's try a couple more of these mana convergence real quick. We'll throw this one down here. All right, it's claiming 1.8. It's pretty fast to get there. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. Oops. 1.8. So yeah, I think we figured it out. You can weigh boosters, but it's just about finding 1.5. So that makes sense. We had about a zero point 0.3 gram difference, and pretty reliably you saw that we were able to isolate the mana convergence cards. Otherwise, the rest seemed to be around 0.5. So it makes sense that we had 0.6 and then the rest were around 0.3, 0.2. The weird one was the zero point 0.4. And I think that might have been, I'll have to check back in the footage, but that might have actually been the alt art foil. So I guess technically if your alt art, because that was the only one that was kind of off. If your alt art foil is in a booster pack that has a normal token, let's just keep running through these, has a normal token, then it's going to weigh a little bit more. And then if it's with a mana convergence, it'll be like the heaviest weight. So I'll check. I'll weigh my unique alt art here. Once I get through these, yeah, it's pretty consistently. Like if I weigh 4 of these at a time, is it just going to say like 6 grams? Yeah, thereabouts. 6 grams, really easy. Split across 4 is in fact 1.5 to save us a little bit of time here. And let's take a look at our uniques. So this is our first unique here, our Gian Assembly Overseer. It's not coming through, but this is weighing in at 1.86. So it seems these white back cards are pretty consistently 1.86. And let's see, or 1.85 or something around there. Let's see if our Foundry Mechanic, our foil, is like 2 instead. Because if it's 2, then we've found our missing. Yeah, there we go. So it's about zero point 0.1 grams more. We figured out where that little bit of a discrepancy is. So I think if we go back, we can actually weigh for these unique alt arts. But honestly, guys, it's a good card, right? It's a good card. It's nice. It's shiny. But we got so many uniques here that you know, weighing to just find this one, I don't know, for me is not worth it. I guess it's good knowledge to have. So in case you're looking to buy singles and you're hoping for alt art uniques, I guess it's technically possible that you've lost out on that alt art unique. But otherwise, if you're just hoping to get uniques, or even, well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a golden booster in another one of our boxes. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see big weight discrepancies there. A golden booster is going to weigh the same because it's a white backed token card. It's going to weigh the same as any of the other white back cards. It'll just look like a mana convergence pack, except it might weigh a little bit more. So again, that might be, instead of like a 2.6, it might be like a 2.7 something. And if you get a 2.7, you probably have a unique alt art in there, whether it's a golden booster or whether it's a normal pack with just like a mana convergence and an alt art unique. Who knows? But yeah, this is quite an interesting experiment here. We'll do a little bit more research, but with all that, hopefully you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.